Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another installment of What If Cinema. And the focus of this installment is what if Alex Vincent starred in Child's Play 3? Now, before I go any further with this video, I want to give a special shout out to Sylvia for requesting this topic. And if there's another film, TV show, or topic that you would like to see me discuss in the future, feel free to donate to my PayPal. The link will be in the video description down below, and I'll try to get to it as soon as I possibly can. Now, Child's Play 3 to me is a pretty decent sequel. I think it suffers in a lot of ways, though, from it being a rushed movie. It was written very fast and was put into production very quickly after Child's Play 2. And I think that definitely is something that hurt the film a little. I think the idea of military school is not a bad idea. In fact, I like it. And I honestly really do think that Justin Whalen did a great job with his take on the character. But I just feel of Andy Barclay. But it's just one of those things where I definitely feel that it would have been very interesting to have seen Alex Vincent back in the role. And I'm tempted to just kind of copy and paste the script as it is from Child's Play 3 and just put in Alex Vincent in there. But I think that if you're going to have Alex Vincent, especially with him being the age that he was as an actor at this time in the early 90s, I think it would be a bit of a stretch to have him be in military school. Uh, so I think the direction to take things with Child's Play 3 is to make it more of a direct continuation of the second film, as well as a continuation of the first movie. And how I would do that is, first off, bring back the character of Mike Norris, played by Chris Sarandon. He was left alive at the end of the first movie. He was injured, but it's not like he was dead. So you could definitely bring him back. And that's one thing that I really didn't know or really didn't get why he wasn't brought back. I guess he was supposed to have a cameo, I believe, in Seed of Chucky or some one of those Chucky sequels, but it just didn't happen, and I'm glad because it probably would have been some cheap cameo and then you would get killed off or some other bullshit. And I know there's a comic that explains what happened, but that's also pretty depressing because he ultimately, I think he dies. And that sucks. So here's how I would bring him back. You would have Andy and Kyle. I would bring Kyle back because I think that that character was one of the best things about Child's Play 2. I really like that character. I think Christine Elise was just fantastic in that role. And I would love to see more of her. So I would set things up where it's Mike Norris who adopts Andy and Kyle. And when it comes to Chucky, I would have him still be brought back in pretty much the same way as it is in the script, because I don't really think I can't really think of any other way that would make it, I would say, any more effective than what's already there. So I would just go with the resurrection as is. But I would change things up a little bit because my idea for Child's Play 3 is definitely a bigger sequel, a sequel that has more time and a bigger budget to work with. And because of this, I would have Chucky's first action in the film after he's resurrected be just absolutely insane. I would have him go to the good guys corpor corporation building, the corporate office, and just kill the entire boardroom in bloody and just creative fashion. And since it's a big bombastic sequel, and it's intended, at least in my vision, to be the finale, let's start things off with a bang too. And he blows the entire building up because Chucky, Charles Lee Ray, he doesn't want to ever be brought back as a doll again. He's tired of it. He's sick and tired of being a doll. So he feels that if he destroys the corporation and does all of this, then there won't be any more dolls, won't be any more good guy dolls, won't be any more uh, vessels like that for his spirit to inhabit. At this point, he's died and been resurrected numerous times, and it's always in this stupid doll. And he'd just rather, at this point, with this one last chance, if he doesn't succeed, he'd rather just go to hell, and be happy down there, that kind of thing. And you can you get a little bit of that in the second movie, where it's like, oh fuck, I'm in this stupid doll body again. So you could just expand upon that a little bit more. And through typical means, Chucky would find a way, and he would find where Andy and Kyle are, and then it would be another body count sort of thing, where maybe Chucky would find where Andy is going to school this time around, and maybe it's a little bit different because it's like a private school or something, and or maybe he would go after Kyle to start with instead of Andy. And when it comes to what Chucky would choose to transfer his soul to, I've kind of had a couple different thoughts that have been in my head. So for one, I think an interesting idea would be him trying to go for Kyle. That would be different. He would take over her body, have a bit of the gender bending sort of stuff, play around with that. That would be a different sort of spin on things. But really, what I think would be the best option, and I know it's not an option that really necessarily follows the rules that were established in the previous films in terms of what Chucky is able to do, in terms of who he's able to possess and take over, and so on. But at this point in the third film, I mean, why not? Why not break some rules here? I mean, it's limiting anyway in terms of what you can do. So why not go in a completely different direction and have Chucky choose Mike as his target? And I know Mike knows his identity and whatever, but because of the fact that the rules are being broken anyway, and the rules were technically kind of broken anyway in the third movie, the way that it was initially released, with the younger kid who's at the military school. Like, he technically didn't know anything. I mean, he wasn't the first to know about Chucky's real identity. I guess in this instance, he technically was, but by a technicality, and it was just breaking and going outside of the rules in the first place. So, why not just go and just shatter them entirely? So then you can have a climax where Andy and Kyle are trying to save Mike. And because of the fact that Mike has become a father figure for them, it really makes for a climax that is really tense. And you really feel the tension and the suspense. And you really want uh, Kyle and Andy to find a way to stop Chucky, because if Chucky wins, not only are they screwed, but so is Mike, because Mike is gone, and that means that their father figure is gone, and they won't have a home. They'll have to go back to the foster system, and I think that maintaining the climax at the haunted house attraction, I think that's a really inspired concept. And I would just keep that, but I would expand it a little bit more, make it longer, have more scenes in that venue. And when it comes to how Chucky dies, I think it would be kind of a similar sort of thing, because I love the way that things are set up with him being all damaged and his face being all cut up, and then having the ending where he gets chopped up by the fan. Like, I think that's a good ending. I think that's a good way to take Chucky out, but this time it would be Andy who would deliver the final blow once and for all. And Andy and Kyle would embrace Mike as the credits roll. um I think you would still have, of course, a lot of blood and gore. Like, my idea is that just make it the bloodiest and the most goriest film in the series, because this is meant to be the final film. And because, in all honesty, I know a lot of people like what Don Mancini did with Bride of Chucky and so on, and the other sequels and the TV show. I'm not one of them, and I know that's something that a lot of Child's Play fans might disagree with. They think that's really what made the franchise into something much more fun, much more interesting, is because of all the stuff that Don did after Child's Play 3. But I've never been a big fan of that. So my concept definitely differs. And I think, why not just stop with a third movie? Just make it a trilogy, and then, just end it. End it on a high note. And I think this would have been a good way to do it. Um, I'm not 100% sure on all of the other sort of like little uh, bits and pieces of the rest of the my idea for the film that are building up to the climax at the funhouse, or some of the other things. Um, Definitely don't really have any one-liners in mind, but since it's Child's Play, like, you're definitely gonna have some of those. Definitely have some stuff that really lets Brad have a lot to work with in terms of dialogue. And I think that it would be interesting and rather fitting to get Tom Holland back. He directed the first film, so he directs the last one. And if Tom isn't available, I think a really interesting and genuinely intriguing choice would be Frank Henenlotter. Frank Henenlotter doing a major studio film and doing the last film in the Child's Play series. I mean, he could do some gonzo, crazy, weird films. I mean, that's what he's known for. And I think that sort of style, that sort of flair would work really well in the climax at the haunted house, and also work well in a lot of different areas. And he's really good in terms of working with practical effects. And I think it would be just a really fun thing to see what Frank Henenlotter could do with a major horror franchise. And maybe, if everything just kind of fell into place, maybe it could be one of those things where they save the best for last. Um, but yeah, that's really what I have in mind for Child's Play 3 with Alex Vincent. He would definitely be just as much of a focus as he was in the other films. But because I have Kyle there, because I have Mike there, I also want to have enough time to flesh their characters out a little bit more and expand upon uh, their journey and their story and their connection with Chucky and with what's going on. So I definitely want to expand upon their different arcs, but still going to have a lot for Andy because this is meant to be the finale. So I would have a lot of moments where Andy grows as a character, gets more confident in himself. And it's not like he didn't lack that to begin with, but I really have the moments where he's getting over the fear of Chucky, like when Chucky first shows up again. He was just. It's almost one of those things where it doesn't shock him, it doesn't surprise him. It's one of those things where he's like, "I've been waiting for you," and this time, it's going to be the last. And there was a little bit of that, if I remember correctly, in Child's Play 2, but I would um, add even more of that in my vision of Child's Play 3. And of course, bring back Joe Renzetti to do the score, have Kevin Yeager do the effects, um, maybe even have Kevin Yeager kind of work alongside K&B to maybe do some of the more elaborate gore effects and stuff like that. But in terms of other things with Child's Play 3, at least the vision that I have for it, um, I would probably say like I really do think around this time in the 90s having some like I don't know if grunge would be the right sort of mix, but having like some kind of rock music would definitely help, and I think would just add to the film and to the aesthetic, especially when it comes to some of the action scenes. Kind of thinking about some of the stuff that you heard in RoboCop 2 with like the Kid Goes Wild, or in Terminator 2 with Guns N' Roses, um, and You Could Be Mine. I think it would be fun to have maybe kind of a fun uh, um, rock soundtrack. But then again, that's just something that I think is just synonymous with horror, at least at this time, is like horror and heavy metal or rock. And I think Child's Play would be a really good mix, really good fit with that. Maybe you could even have Brad do uh, a little duet with one of the bands or something in character. And yeah, I just think that this has potential. I think this definitely is a concept that has potential. I think it legitimately could have worked if you had the right approach. And the right approach also entails, like I said earlier in the video, like taking your time with this, not releasing this in 91, maybe giving it another year or two, maybe having it come out in 92 or 93. So audiences have a little bit of time to kind of essentially build themselves up for another Child's Play and wait and develop some anticipation for it. And then when things start to become more clear, when you get the marketing and everything, and then things would really start to kick into high gear, and then the fans would just be really enthusiastic about it, really wanting to go see it. Because Child's Play 3 underperformed anyway. It made a profit, but if I remember correctly, I think it was like the one of the lowest grossing, if not the lowest grossing film in the series, which I think is unfortunate because I think it definitely deserved to make more money than Seed of Chucky. But yeah, that's just my vision and my hypothetical on Child's Play 3 if Alex Vincent was the star. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and As always, I'll see you later. See ya.